Welcome to my first episode of my Mistress Makeover. Alright, if you haven't followed along, I made a big order from TST. They delivered the parts, now I've got to install them all. In this segment, I'm going to be installing the crash protection on the side fairings and on all the other parts that I ordered, the frame sliders, the fork sliders, the bar ends, the block sliders, all of it. I'm going to be putting it all on. So follow me along with that. And keep in mind, I'm going to be doing all these things at once and be making multiple videos at the same time. So if you see something that looks a little out of place, like say, I don't know, an exhaust missing, it's because I'm doing a bunch of stuff at once. I guess the first thing that anybody should do is read the instructions. Instead, I'm just going to open all the boxes.
Alright, you can see I took all the parts out of the boxes and put them with their cool instructions. Now let's take the fairings off.
There we go! I got it! Alright, starting off, TST gave me this nice little cutting template for the frame sliders. I would recommend, I did this, I made copies of this. Something happens, you want to replace your fairings with a different color or something like that. If you already used this and tore it up and threw it away, it's going to make the installation of the new set of fairings very, very difficult. So, I'm going to quickly cut this one out. This is the left side fairing. So I'm going to quickly cut out the left side fairing template and go from there. TST really is testing your kindergarten education. If you did not pass cutting class in kindergarten, then this is not a job for you. If you can't cut shit, then that means that this is going to be off and you're going to ruin a good set of fairings. Alrighty, I got her taped down. The tape doesn't give it all in the center. I don't feel any ripples. Everything feels pretty smooth. The paper's not binding. So now this is the moment I've been waiting for. Going past the commitment cone on this one, no turning back. Lining my drill bit. Centering it a little bit. Make sure she's centered. I now officially have a hole in my OEM fairings. Well, if I didn't shit my pants before, I'm going to shit them now. This is my 1 1/8 hole saw. I got to drill through the pilot hole. Now they want me to hold this as level as possible like it's on the bike and drill straight into it. I don't like guesswork. No! Too scary, it's too scary. This is actually pretty nerve-wracking, especially if you've never done anything like this before. So, yeah, it actually was a lot easier than I thought it would be. Let's just make sure it fits the bike now. The tape that I put on there was just to make sure that it didn't ruin the paint. A lot of times when you're cutting with a hole saw or anything like that, through a painted surface like this, it could cause the edges to chip. The paint will hold it together. I will need to though, I don't know if you can see it, there's a lot of burrs on the inside from me cutting, so I'm going to go in with a file and just clean it up. Now I'm on the left side. First you got to take off this bolt right here. I think it's a 17 millimeter? Yeah, 17 millimeter bolt. It's the one off the side of the block of the engine. There is a spacer behind it, so watch that. In his video, I don't think he remembered that, so, oh, it's hard. Breaker bar time! All else fails with the bigger guns.
There we go. Now one thing to note, these bolts hold in my engine. So I'm not taking both of them out. If I did, I think the engine would fall. And I don't want that. I'm not going to try it to see what happens. The thread that never ends. Why am I doing this? There's that spacer. So you're actually replacing the bolt that the engine came with the one in the kit. The only thing I would recommend though, hold on to these bolts, because in order to do oil changes or anything like that, you have to take the crash protection off. If you have to take both sides off and the engine's gonna fall, if you have this OEM bolts, when you take one side off, you can put this back in so that way it will still hold it in place while you take both fairings off. If you just have the crash protection, I guess you could put the crash protection back in to hold it in place, but a puck sticking off the side, half of a foot, might get in the way if you're trying to just do basic engine work. Whereas this is going to seal up tight, so it's worth holding on to. I'm going to slide this up there. Ah, crap. Make sure you remember to, when you're putting this together, to feed all these hoses through this hole. There we go. Now that the panel's in, I'm seeing the hole. It lines up pretty good with the hole that I drilled, so all this anxiety about drilling holes is feeling a lot better now. It's going away. So basically with the kit, there's two different parts. There's one with longer hardware and one with shorter hardware. This is the longer hardware and spacer. So now I'm just going to try to work my hand behind here and get the spacer into place and feed this in. I hope you're a contortionist, because my hand is cramping. I'm there. Alright. If you look at the hole I drilled, it's rubbing a little bit on the front, so I think I'm going to take it out a little bit and try to sand it down a little bit. I don't want this rubbing as I'm driving. Alright, now that we're at that point, set this to 30 foot-pounds. That's what they say at least. Good to go. Now again, these are the anodized pieces from Womet that are slightly more orange than red. But these are the ones that, this came with black. I'm going to install this in there instead, and we'll be good to go. Well, after doing this side, I have a lot more confidence about drilling holes in OEM fairings, especially when they give me a dummy kit. So let me go do the other one on the other side.
This crash protection takes longer to install than I thought. That's making for a very long video, so I'm going to break this into two separate videos. This one covered both the frame sliders on the left and right side. The next episode, part 2 if you will, of the crash protection install is going to be the fork sliders, the bar ends, the block slider, and the engine slider. Why is there so many on one? Well, because the frame sliders took a little bit longer to install. So for now, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, please put those down below. And until next time, remember you can always find me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. I'll catch you guys in the next one.